Let's play.
Good evening and welcome to the Mariners EPS 2019. It's game 6 of this T20 leg. I beg your pardon, it's game 7 of this T20 leg, and today's match is going to be between SG Crimsons and SG Stars. It's going to be very important for the Stars, as if they do win today, they continue in this competition. Otherwise, the Crimsons are going to be heading through to play the finals with the Crescents. It's once again a beautiful day. And let's have a look at the surface on which the action is going to take place. Once again, it looks like a very good wicket here at the Indian Association Cricket Ground. I think with the new ball, it will assist seam movement, and later on in the second innings with a little bit of turn. But all in all, it should not change much over the 40 overs and should be easier to bat in the second innings. I wouldn't be surprised, given the gravity of the game and the wicket, that the team winning the toss might look to chase on this track. We will join you shortly with the toss.
Singapore, let's play.
Reza here. You'll be tossing.
Tails. Tails is a call. And you get the heads.
Reza, what's it gonna be?
We'll look to bat first.
Okay. Any changes to your side?
Yeah, Aditya Sudarshan comes in instead of Husnain. Husnain is injured. Other than that, Arjun is not playing and Virendeep is not playing.
What do you think is gonna be a good score on this deck?
I think something around 170 to 170 onwards. That's what we're looking at.
Good luck for the game.
Thank you, Shamal.
Carbo, you got your fish again. You wanted to be chasing. Any changes to your side?
No, we're going with the same team that played the last T20, but hopefully we can carry the momentum we've been having so far.
Is there any changes to your side?
No, same team. Hopefully we have faith in the guys that they'll do the job again.
Good luck for the game.
Thank you.
There you have it. The Stars have won the toss and elected to bat. We will join you shortly with the live commentary. Good evening and welcome to the live telecast from the Indian Association of this Mariners EPS 2019 Game 7 of the T20 leg between SG Stars and SG Crimsons. It's a must-win game for the Stars, and their openers are out on the park, Gontina Santosh and Avi Dixit. It looks like it's going to be Tafara Chingwara from the Serangoon Road end. Stars today coached by Saad Khan Janjua himself, Crimsons by Arjun Menon, and the two umpires on the park of Sarika Prasad and umpire Ramesh, two very experienced campaigners adjudicating this game. Should be an interesting one. The wicket looked very good. It should stay consistent for the 40 overs. Stars winning the toss and electing to take first lease of this wicket, having a bat. That was a very good first delivery. Tafara steaming in and hitting Gontina Santosh on the splice. He didn't know much about that. Dropping short of the backward point fielder. Rohan Rangaraj there. There's a gully. Backward point. Cover, mid-off. On the onside, mid-on, mid-wicket square leg. The boundary riders are at third man and fine leg. The Crimsons sitting pretty on top of the points table with 9 points, having won 3 of their previous outings. Their solitary loss came against the Crescents. The Crescents, having won 2 of their 4 games, will be eagerly watching this contest, because should the Stars lose today, they'll be cruising to the finals. There's a very good bit of fielding there by Prasheen Param at gully, but the Stars openers crossover for a single. Brings Avi Dixit on to strike, left-hander. Let's see how he goes against Tafara Chingwara. The Crimsons look a very settled side. Their co-players not changing much throughout this tournament in both the 50 over as well as the T20 legs. The Stars thought that 170 would be a good score on this track. See whether they can get there. It was interesting, just before the game, Tafara Chingwara was practicing his bowling, and he seemed to have been practicing exactly this delivery in particular, going wide of the crease and coming off the blind spot to both the left-handers and to the right-handers, coming from wider crease and cramping them for room. That seems to be his MO. He's doing a good job thus far. It's a very good first over. Only a single conceded. Stars 1 for the loss of no wicket at the end of the first over. Young Rohan Rangaraj, sporting a new hairdo, was adjudged the best batsman in the 50-over leg of the EPS. Batted brilliantly, in particular in that last innings where he scored an unbeaten 153. Has also been doing a good job with the ball for his team. Has been given the duty to open the bowling in the power play. This will be interesting. Kontina Santosh, a very attacking batsman. He'll be looking to score off the off spin of Rohan Rangaraj. That will also give an opportunity for the bowler to collect a wicket. That's the style of cricket Kontina Santosh plays. Tucks it around the corner for a single. Tafara Chingwara at short fine leg, getting a bad bounce. There's a slip in a place. Slightly wider and a short mid wicket. The two fielders protecting the boundary are at long on and deep mid wicket. We are within the power play overs, so only 2 men allowed. Avi Dixit wanders down the crease, misses it altogether. And it's an easy stumping for Anshul Singhania. Rohan Rangaraj adjusting his line, going slightly wider. Avi Dixit didn't bother giving the bowler a look in. Straight away going for the big one and perishing. Stars lose their first wicket. Ball drifting in and straightening. Can't say it was the most intelligent cricket shot. Brings Sithit Shinde to the crease, number 3 for the Stars. This might not be such a bad thing. Sithit, very capable right-hand batsman. An easy looking stroke player when he gets going. This will allow him some time at the middle, which will do well for the Stars.
Right arm over 4 to come.
A solitary slip remains. Crimson's attacking.
White ball.
Rohan Ranga sends one down the leg side. Unable to adjust immediately from the left-hander to the right-hander. But he has a very easy economical action.
White ball.
So another wide. And an extra conceded by the keeper as well. Kontina Santosh looking to bash that one out of the park. It's an underneath edge. Tafara Chingwara there. Short fine leg, making sure keeps it down to 1. Good bit of fielding. Once again, tucked away to the leg side. Tafara Chingwara, a busy man at short fine leg.
Machine square leg. Yeah, any 30. What's good, sir?
2.
Gontina Santosh waiting on that one, depositing it to deep square leg for 4.
A little bit, yeah. What's his name?
I've been joined by my partner in crime, Charles Weisfer from the Crescents. He's off duty today, but helping out in the commentary. And as we speak, Rohan Ranga being cut backward of point, adjusting on the offside. Gontina Santosh climbing into that one. 4 runs. This was a much better over for the Stars, conceding 14. End of the second over. Stars 15 for the loss of 1. Chelsea, welcome to the Combox.
Thank you, Mr. Jamal Silva. Good evening to everyone watching us live from the IA here in Singapore. Just that last ball of the over, Rohan getting his own medicine.
Yes, he was dishing it out the other night. Today he's on the receiving end.
Good to see. Now he knows how it feels when you're bowling. 15 for 1 after 2 overs. Tafara Chengwara continues from Sarangon end.
Charging in. Scampering through for a quick single. The Stars batters. It was very interesting. I saw Tafa practicing those deliveries even before the game started, going wide at the crease to tuck in the batsman, not give any room.
Yeah, and I think the wicket is giving him some extra assistance. He's going wide of the stumps and sliding the ball straight into the batsman, creating no room for the batsman. All he has to do is just nudge it down for a single, which is good to see from Tafara. It's again excellent bowling from Tafara, making sure the ball stays as straight as possible.
Yes, Santosh likes width, and at the moment he's not getting any. And that's the way to get him out, by building pressure on him, because he can be a bit dangerous if he hangs around, because he doesn't die wandering, throws his bat around.
I mean, he's a man who will play anything that comes onto his pad. What I think he has to do is adjust his stance a bit for Tafara, because Tafara now looks like he's only using the crease to bowl it straight into the stumps. So if he can adjust his stance a bit and maybe move closer to his off stump, he'll be able to whip him down for 4.
And also if he can open up a little bit, help that ball to come in and tuck it off his hips. Shinde seems to be employing the open stance. Tafa bowling it down the leg side this time for a wide.
It's been a slow start for the Stars compared to the other stats from the previous games. 18 for 1 after 2.3 overs. Quite slow.
Yes, they don't have the full strength team today, so they will take this start. I think as a result of the previous over, they got 17 or 15 of it. Tafa only giving 1 in the first over. That was quick.
Is it because of the national service, or some guys are injured? Because this is not the Stars that we know.
I think it's safe to say that some of the Stars bailed out. My good mate Bilal Asad, I'm sure is watching the live telecast from Malaysia. Today he's stuck there, unfortunately not coaching the Stars. And there it is, a simple catch. And that's the end of Sidit Shinde. Tafara Chingara bending his back, and that ball coming on to Shinde much quicker than he anticipated.
Catch taken by Kenneth Weiss there, just inside the circle.
Yes, it was a mere formality for Kenny Vaiswa. Very good fielder. Athletic run up there by Tafara Chingwara, banging in. Shinde shaping up to pull it, but it was on to him quicker than he expected.
There's a bit of juice in the track this evening. You can clearly see it from the extra bounce that Tafara is generating, which is unusual for the wicket at IA. So I think there's a bit of assistance for the bowlers tonight. And, let's wait and see what the scores will be.
Yes, I was surprised that the team winning the toss elected to bat first. I thought it might be a good wicket to chase on, but you have to back whatever decision you take, and you have to execute intelligently. Reza Ghaznavi, the skipper of the Stars, walks out to the centre. His team will be looking for him to do a job this evening. It's good for him to come out early. There's quite a number of overs still remaining in this game. Greeted with a very quick bodyline ball by Tafara Chingwara. Lucky it didn't carry to the gully fielder. At the end of 3 overs, Stars 18 for the loss of 2. Crimsons immediately going to Vinod Bhaskaran. They are more regular operator in the power play overs. Kerebu Motlanka not wasting any time. Doesn't believe in conceding an inch when on top. Must have told Rohan Ranga, you stick to the batting. There's a slip in place, and the boundary riders are at long on and deep mid wicket. Vinod Bhaskaran, very good bowler, left arm orthodox. Doesn't spin it big, but hardly gives any room for the batters.
Great shot down the track. It's gone for 4.
Guntina Santosh greets him with a straight boundary, drilled down. That one whistled away. Once again, the outfield very quick.
I think the Stars need to maximize in the power play. You need to get a proper score, I would say, within the first 6 overs for you to have a competitive total score at the end of the innings.
Slight misunderstanding there, but lucky. Both batsmen make it safely to their respective ends.
Pick one, guys. Moving. Slightly away. That's Santa Gaza. Santa, yeah. Left arm round, 4 to come.
Vinod Bhaskaran to Reza Ghaznavi. Oh dear. Almost pinned him in front.
The bowlers today have come with a different idea of not giving out any width and staying as straight as possible.
Very good bit of fielding by Pramesh Singh Harvey. Backward point. And well played away the short third man.
Well ball again to the north. Making no mistake there of giving a bit of room to the batsman to slash it away. That's all you need from your bowlers. To stay as straight as possible. Let them be hit mid-off, mid-on. They'll be doing a great job.
Once again, glided away to short third man.
That's over. I'm sure all good. What about you?
Looks like there's going to be another change in bowling. Kenneth Weisfer coming in from the Serangoon Road end. Very experienced operator. Ugandan national. I have a very special guest here with us, great supporter of this EPS from Synergy Physiotherapy and Sports, Mr. Sairam. Good evening, welcome to the Combox.
Thanks for the invite. It's been an honor to be here and be part of this tournament.
I've seen you watching the EPS and following the action keenly. What has been your experience thus far here?
It's been a high quality tournament. I think bringing international talent into Singapore and rub shoulders with the local boys here, and that's going to be mutually enriching. And for the fact that it's been ongoing for 2 years now, I feel that the tournament has a very promising future.
Yes, it has given great opportunity for the youngsters from here to rub shoulders and play with local professionals as well as professionals from the region. And with the emphasis on fitness, I know you've been working a lot with the boys lately to make sure that they play back-to-back games and they're all fit. So what has been the experience there? What have you been telling them on these hot conditions?
See, before the start of any tournament, preparation in terms of fitness is very, very important because we have a lot of unknown factors, primarily environmental conditions, and especially also with back-to-back games happening, very less rest and recovery for the players. I think that it's all going to be about injury prevention rather than managing injuries during the tournament. I feel moving forward, international players, when they arrive, we have to put them through some sort of a preparatory camp and then identify and screen for musculoskeletal injuries and make sure that we put in protocols to prevent them from happening during the tournament so that they can all enjoy the tournament.
Is as the level and standard of cricket becomes higher, and in particular with the sheer amount of cricket that's being played, I think fitness is an integral part contributing towards performance.
See, it's also about the individual responsibility of the players. No amount of fitness protocol can guarantee injury prevention. So injuries are bound to happen. So it's also about the individual responsibility of the players. So they will have to seek help as soon as they feel that it's important. Yeah.
Looks like it's Chetan Suryavanshi. Going to be marking up his run-up and bowling from the Serangoon Road end. Be bowling to Gontina Santosh.
एक second.
He plays all his cricket here at the Indian Association, knows these conditions like the back of his hand. Slightly drifting down the leg side. Oh dear, direct hit there, would have been curtains. Yes, how has your experience been? I mean, the Indian Association looking a sight under lights. There's, much more character, and now I also hear that we might be very soon hosting another ICC tournament.
See, it's been a fabulous transformation. You can see that.
Keepers.
So it's almost comparable to many of the international venues. All these beautiful floodlights and all the fitness facilities, live coverage of cricket. It's all getting interesting. Coming back to the fitness point of view, of late it's just been a little bit of a dry weather. And that has created some uneasiness for the players. And because of the dry conditions, the environment has been pretty hard. And therefore the fast bowlers have been really struggling with certain issues.
That's a terrific shot. Gontina Santosh just opening the face of the bat. Very intentional, playing it at the last moment. Finds the boundary at third man. Keeps the scoreboard motoring on. Stars wouldn't mind that. Beautiful shot, 4 runs. Sorry, you were saying?
Talking about the dry weather in the past few days, and that has added to the fitness issues or the injury issues players been facing, especially the fast bowlers. So we've seen a few of the shin splints happening and a few back sprains happening. And I guess, so this is the group, especially the fast bowling group, that need to be looked after in particular.
And also for our young viewers watching and listening in, explain the importance of sleep and proper diet and fluids. What does that play?
See, we've had a lot of evidence on cricket-related literature and how important it is to have good habits right from the formative years.
And as we speak, Gontina Santosh once again drills one down to long off for 4. Pass mid-off. Employing the straight bat. Very good shot. Stars would want him to continue deep into the innings. Can score at a rapid pace.
So the youngsters always need to be encouraged to develop good habits to help empower the responsibility to them to look after themselves and impart the importance of good warm-ups and cool downs following the game, good hydration, especially when it gets very hot, and always speak to senior players, coach, in case they have the niggles or any possible fitness issues, so that the issues don't become chronic, especially when they are developing as good cricketers. We do not want fitness issues to hamper their career.
Well, Sairam, I know you're a busy man. You've been a wonderful supporter of this EPS and cricket here in Singapore. I would like to thank you very much for your time, and thank you for joining us in the Combox.
It's always a pleasure. Thanks for the invite. Happy to be here.
A good little partnership building up here, Charlesy.
Yes, that's very true. The Stars looking to accelerate a bit here in the power play. It's the last over of the power play. At least if they can get maybe 46 or 50 in the 6 overs, they will be destined for a good total at the end of their inning.
Good call there by Santosh. Ramesh Param Ramesh Singhavi, I beg your pardon. Doing a good job there at backward point. Scooping in on that ball, cutting down the single. Yes, they would be looking to get at least 10 runs in this over, if possible, last over of the power play. This is very good bowling by Vinod Bhaskaran, testing the patience of Reza Ghaznavi, not giving any room. But what the Stars need to be conscious here is that they don't give away another wicket, because that would really hamper their progress.
Driven down the ground for one by Reza. I think Reza is a very good player of the cut shot. What the Crimsons have done is they've actually cut it out from him. They've not given him that ball that he cuts for a boundary and gets him off pressure. So they've bowled straight into him, and all he has to do is pick a single down the ground.
This is very good bowling, giving no room whatsoever. Yes, and that offside ring almost from cover to backward point and to short third man. It's like a moratorium enforced by some ships.
It's an off-fly zone.
Yes. Kontina Santosh powerfully drilling it past deep mid-wicket.
Over.
4 runs. Good shot. Stars would be pleased of making progress to 43 for the loss of 2 wickets at the end of 6 overs. Both batsmen look determined.
So you don't sweat as much.
These 2 youngsters need to do a job for the Stars. Captain Reza Ghaznavi in the middle. Sure, they'll look for him to bat deep into this innings and guide the batsmen around him. So that's not much more experience left today in that camp.
I think Santosh is the man today. He's the man that should bat through the 20 overs, because he has played himself into the game, and there's no need of him throwing away his wicket.
You want this guy, right? Next time.
Yes, it looks like Rohan Rangaraj will continue from the Sarangun Road end.
A big thank you to Synergy Physiotherapy and Sports. They've been the backbone of our playing in this tournament, most of us. We've visited him a couple of times throughout the tournament, and it's been very helpful to us.
Reza Ghaznavi down the track, looking to loft it. Gets a leg by. Kontina Santosh calling him through for the single. Losing his bat in the process, but safely home. A very eventful delivery for a result being a single.
Great bowling from Rohan there, keeping it nice and straight in the stumps.
Yes, he seemed to got a new haircut, nice and straight, a military top.
Is that one of the requirements, that you must shave your head?
I think they are required to have a specific type of haircut, but I don't know whether this one is the requirement, but it seems to do the job. It's very much in fashion, these youngsters.
Looking good for the cameras.
Catch!
And that's the end of Kontina Santosh vigil at the centre. Returning an easy caught and ball to Rohan Ranga. He's not going to drop those. Stars would be disappointed. He was the upset man, throwing away his wicket.
I think that was a bit uncalled for from Santosh, being the man that has played himself into the game, and it looks to be the only man that Stars has today.
That
should have stayed playing straight and picking the singles from the spinners.
That brings in Lolit Babu to the centre. He's a big Virat Kohli fan.
Looks more like him. I don't know who looks like who. He looks like Kohli or Kohli looks like him.
I think it's the latter. He'll be very pleased had he known you said that, Chelsea.
No. We already discussed about it from the very first time we landed here. The very first time I looked at him, I told him, I think you look like Kohli. Let's see if he has some Kohli DNA in him. Today he just got another 100 against Australia. Brilliant batting from Virat Kohli there again, once again.
I think he scored another century, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, even a percentage of Virat Kohli's DNA would greatly assist in the Stars' cost this evening.
Just a 0.5% of the DNA is just enough for the Stars to score maybe 200.
Yes.
No, yaar, enough tez rahe. Stay frosty enough.
Anshul Singhavi behind the stumps, demanding that his 30 yards troopers keep it tight, not concede easy singles, rallying the troops.
No, keep on aaja yaar. Tez hai Manoj tu.
I thought he did a very good job the other day as well. At the end of 7 overs, Stars 45 for the loss of 3 wickets. Especially when the Stars openers had put up almost 176 runs. Young Anshul as the wicket keeper behind the stumps on a very hot day. He always kept encouraging his bowlers and teammates. And once they did actually get that breakthrough, they managed to skittle the Stars for something like 257. They were looking at one stage going well beyond 300.
I mean, I looked at the projected score in the game I just started and it was 800. I was like, okay, what's going on here? But then every over, every ball, the projected score kept on coming down. And the Stars ended up with 250.
Chetan Suryavanshi continuing from the Balestier Road end. The beautiful pictures you see here, brought to you by Tami Chanmuleva and his team at Sportigo. Rohit Babu negotiates that full toss to third man. It looked like there was a bit of late tail on that ball, curving away. That was, I'm pretty sure, an intentional full toss, because he managed to get the Centurion Arjun Mutreja's wicket with a full toss the other day, Chetan.
Chetan's bowling has been handy for the Crimsons. He's been one bowler who has chipped in with a couple of overs, and he has done it well. I think earlier on we saw Kenneth Waiswa limping off. Chetan had to finish his over from the Sarangon Road end. I think he's still struggling with his back.
Big thanks to all our sponsors. Title sponsors, Mariners Cricket Club, powered by KDP Exports Private Limited, and our gold sponsors, Synergy Physiotherapy and Sports. They've been great supporters of this EPS throughout and cricket in Singapore. And what a wonderful platform this has been. Rohit Babu facing Chetan Suryavanshi. Chetan banging it into the deck. It reminds me of an old Sharjah wicket, Charles. Shining Pakistan clay on the surface.
Very well said, Mr. Jamal there. Sharjah is one of the flattest tracks I've ever seen in this world. You can literally see yourself. It's like a mirror. You can just stand there and
comb your hair.
Comb your So yeah, it's a graveyard. I call them graveyards for the bowlers, mainly the fast bowlers. You don't really need. You don't want to be playing on flat decks. they take everything out of you. Not only taking everything out of you, but they also add injuries to you. So it's pretty hard in Sharjah.
Lulit Babu advancing down the track, greeted with a short ball tucked into his ribs. Is Lolit very excited to be playing in the Stars outfit today? He has come up through the ranks, playing in the lower divisions. He's known as a bit of a striker. But this is a different ball game altogether. No ball signalled. Sarika Prasad, very experienced umpire, adjudicates in the ICC games as well.
Let's see what Babu does with his free hit. Will this be his only chance to free his limbs?
Yes, can he have a Kohli moment? Well, he did certainly attempt an audacious shot. I think marks have to be given for that attempt.
I think you need to maximize when you see such free hits because they rarely come through. I mean, when you see it, as a batsman, my eyes will become bigger. It's the only time that I have to do anything that I want with the ball. But for you to miss that one, maybe no.
So you will not give him any marks for trying?
Even a blind man would have hit that one.
A harsh man, Charles Weiswa. That brings young Pramesh Singh Harvey from the Serangoon Road end.
Drop. Enough. Hey, you want Arnav more, right? He's only deep.
It's a good young leg spinner.
Yeah, Arnav.
I'm coaching the under-17 teams which he captains. He's a very
Arnav.
good young up-and-coming cricketer. Let's see what he can do for the Crimsons today. Bowling from the Serangoon Road end.
No.
Short, wide, played away to sweeper cover.
Right in the money
Reza
now,
would be a
Brad.
bit disappointed. He could have hit that anywhere.
That's very true. Yeah, I've seen him playing in the under-17 T10 leagues. And
Nice shot.
he's been very instrumental for his team.
This is sensible cricket by Lolit. Taking the singles, hanging around for his captain.
No one. Keep us. My God. Agility. Lightning quick, eh?
He also seemed to be getting through his overs very quickly.
No one.
That's what you need from your bowlers. For as long as they're picking up dot balls in T20 cricket, it's all you need. Most bowlers, where they go wrong is they come out searching for wickets in T20 cricket, whereby they end up being expensive.
It's a good appeal there. Looks like it was missing off. Reza getting a stride in, getting struck outside the line of off stump. The leg spinner taking the ball away.
Yeah, Reza's gets been closed. He has not got anything outside of stump. There comes one. He cuts it down for one.
They should have been looking for the second, running the first one hard.
Putting pressure on the fielder, being that he picked the ball up, then he had to go down again. So yeah, they need to be putting pressure on the fielders at this point in time for them to get a good total.
Looks like Naveen Param there at sweeper did a good job keeping it down to a single. Yes, we had a very interesting discussion this afternoon because the Sri Lanka-South Africa game has been going on, and Imran Tahir, the leg spinner, South Africa have been using him as a wicket taker in short spells, and every time he comes on to bowl, he seems to take a wicket. And the problem the Sri Lankan batsmen have been having with him is picking the googly. And the left-handers in particular not being effective against him because he bowls the googly at a rather quick pace. not clean
What a mix-up
together.
here. I would call that shady cricket from the batsman.
Lolit Babu almost ran two.
Clearly, you can see Raza ball watching after playing a shot, which is unprofessional. As a batsman, after playing the shot, you need to be looking at your partner at the other side. You don't have to be looking at the fielder. And I've seen it a couple of times with other guys here. When they play the ball, they look at the fielder instead of looking at the batsman. Because when you're calling, you're not calling the fielder. You're calling your partner. You're batting with your partner. You're not batting with the fielders. So that's the biggest mistake that has
Yes.
been made.
And if we look at that replay once again, not only did he play the shot and kept looking at the ball, he also took a few steps towards the non-striker, indicating that he was going for a single, and that really sold Lolit Babu the lemon. He came charging and he was told, "No son, turn around." He could continue running all the way to the pavilion.
Because clearly you can see he made 2 runs. He got to him and then got back to his crease. There he goes for the second. Oh, doesn't make it.
Had he put in a dive, he would have got in for the second. That's what you call being sold down the river. Yes, the Stars, they couldn't afford that run out because the ball was misfielded, the fielder recovered, have to gather and throw back, and there you see Reza taking the start and then saying, sorry, run back. And that's gone straight up in there. Chetan Suryavanshi doesn't make a mistake. This is a lapse in concentration, going for a pull shot, getting his feet also in a tie-up. Stars falling in a heap. Looks like it's going to be an early dinner today, Chelsea.
Early dinner indeed. That was uncalled for from the captain of the Stars. I mean, you've just lost a wicket in the same over. Then you go on to play a simple pull shot that doesn't even get off the square. He needs to stick around for his team as a captain. You need to lead from the front. You cannot leave it to the tail-enders. You cannot leave it to the bowlers to do it for you. You need to put your hand up as a captain and lead from the front.
That brings young Aman Desai to the center together with Aditya Rangaswamy to negotiate almost half the innings. That is a perilous position to be in. And as we were discussing earlier about the leg spinners and the googlies, so there were various opinions, and one very interesting one in particular by Mavanatapattu. And he thought that you should closely watch the seam to pick out which direction the seam is rotating, and that would give an indicator. And then there was another interesting opinion of Aravinda De Silva. Now this guy is a real thinker when it comes to the game. And he said back in the day when he was batting and when they came up against Mushtaq Ahmed or the big turning bowlers like Shane Warne.
Anil Kumble.
Yes, Anil Kumble, not so much a big turner of the ball. His regular ball almost all the time came in with the hand. But in particular, like against no ball there and a free hit. Chetan Suryavanshi being a bit indisciplined here, overstepping.
Do not mess with the umpire's line. That line belongs to the umpire. And I commend Chetan. Is a very experienced player. He does not complain with the umpire. He has just walked back to bowl. But most bowlers throughout the tournament have been complaining with the umpire.
And Aditya Rangaswamy slaps it away to mid-on. Fielder there drops the catch, but it wouldn't have mattered even had he collected it because it was a free hit. Yes, going back to the points, what Aravind De Silva said, what they did was they would look for various giveaways using the front-on footage when they were analyzing the bowlers to see the way the bowlers grip the ball and also in the angle of the arm, and in particular how they held the seam, and sometimes even the non-striker would communicate it to the batsman that this is what might be coming your way. So I thought that was really interesting. The higher the level of cricket you play, all these little things that you do to find an advantage. Hopefully Sri Lanka can find a way to negate Tahir's threat.
But the bowlers are also not sleeping these days. They come when they're hiding the ball, so it's also becoming very hard for the batsmen to pick it up. And also Tahir also announcing his retirement after the World Cup. 39 years of age, he has done well for South Africa, and he says he's still available for selection.
Yes, he's very fit and a fearsome competitor. At the end of 10 overs, Stars 54 for the loss of 5. I would like to welcome to the box our friend Mohan Subramaniam. Mohi, good evening and welcome.
Thanks, Jamal. And interesting you should mention Imran Tahir bowling googlies and leg breaks at pace. The traditional wisdom, gentlemen, used to be that unless you flight the ball won't turn. But bowlers today are evolving so much, they're practicing so hard that they're spinning the ball at pace, and that too both ways. That makes it so much more difficult for batsmen to pick them. But you should hear many stories about non-strikers helping the strikers as well, which way is the bowler holding the ball, etc. Makes for fascinating stuff because it's such a team game, this.
Yeah. Speaking of spinning the ball and bowling it fast, you love the likes of Shahid Afridi, who is retired now, and the current spin of Pakistan, Yasir Shah, also bowls it very quick and it is stunning. That's great information to work with also.
Rashid Khan from Afghanistan. So the batsman just can't dance down the track to take it on the full. Very little air bowlers give these days and yet manage to turn it. That's how much they are practicing spin bowling. They've taken it to a whole new level.
Yeah, that's very true. So many spinners these days are becoming much quicker than some of the medium pacers, and it's very difficult for you to dance down the track these days because of the pace at which the ball comes and the turn that it generates after pitching. So yeah, the spinners have actually become more of, say, medium pacers, but with turn.
Coming back to this game, I wonder if there is anything that this guy who's got the ball can't do. He's batted well, he's picked up wickets, and the Stars struggling at 55 for 5. And Rohan Rangraj from his traditional round the wicket angle has got the batsman out, caught at first slip. There he goes again. The angle taking the ball away from the batsman having an almighty swing at it. All he can get is the outside edge, and Chetan makes no mistake at first slip. It's 55 for 6, and the Singapore Stars going down in a heap now.
And there he goes. Aditya Rangaswamy does not disturb the scoreboard. He's gone for naught of 2 balls.
I don't know quite what he was trying there. The ball drifting away, trying to take it from way outside off stump. Given the Stars were 5 wickets down, I mean, his instructions might have been to bat through, but anyway, it looks like he's done otherwise. I think that brings Siddhant Singh to the crease.
Yes, this is what I said earlier on. You cannot leave it for the bowlers. I literally call them the bowlers because these are the guys that bat at the back end of the inning. So they have 9.4 overs to bat out, and of which they have the slog overs also, which makes it difficult for the Stars, because when you get to the point of the slog overs, you need one of your top 4 guys to be at the crease to take on the bowlers who will be bowling in the slog overs, because they're also coming to make sure they restrict you to a lesser target for them to chase.
Yes, and having won the toss and elected to bat, which I thought was a tricky decision on this track, they didn't show the application that was required. The Stars have been very audacious, and have a look at that first shot. I don't know whether they put something in the Gatorade.
And yet again, Jamal, it's been 2 extremes. It's either block or go for the big shot. And in not getting the big shot right, they're paying the price for their wicket. So very little 1s and 2s. That's another dimension of cricket, no matter how short the format is. All of a sudden, the Stars are no longer thinking run rates, they're thinking survival. I mean, at least that's what they should be doing. But here is the batsman taking an almighty heave of the very first ball. So the prime objective of the Stars now should be to last those 20 overs, get through those next 9.2 overs one way or the other, and try and get at least to about 120 to give themselves a chance.
Yes, and also Siddhant Singh, I think, is a bit more capable batsman than Lolit Babu and Aditya Rangasamy, so I'm a bit surprised to see him coming down at number 8, but I guess that's the role that was given to him today. And you have seen him play better shots than that in the last over. And what Rohan Rangasamy is doing here is rushing them through, not giving any breathing space. My goodness gracious me. They are playing a shorter ball.
And look, there are wide open gaps in the field. Singles and twos are there for the taking. But here's the batsman once again, head high, thrown in the air and going for glory rather than trying and last it out.
I mean, you cannot take it away from the tail enders. That is their style of play. They don't like to hang around for so long. Neither are they interested in singles and twos. All they want to see is 6-4, 6-4. So, I mean, it is expected from the tail enders. But Rohan has done well for the Crimsons. 3 for 17 after 3 overs. That is pretty commendable from him.
I mean, both these youngsters, they play top order cricket for their respective clubs and age group representative cricket. So, and that's a much better shot. So they are not really bunny rabbits with the bat. And once they walk into the middle, these days all players are required to play the match situation, you know. So they have to be a bit more intelligent how they go about their business than just come all guns blazing when you're 55 for the loss of 6 wickets. That is a very optimistic appeal by the experienced campaigner. That was missing another set of stumps.
Yeah, look, the only chance that the Stars have is to bat out these 20 overs, one way or the other, and get at least to 100 or a little over that, to give themselves a semi-decent chance, because these Crimsons bat deep. They've got their openers in top form. I don't think even 120 will challenge them too much, but that's really the only way. What an attempt by the fielder at mid-wicket. The batsman will go for one, but that was a close shave again.
Karabo Matlanka throwing himself, almost converting that into a catch. Would have been a spectacular catch had he held on to it. The Crimsons are playing a very good brand of cricket in this EPS. They're the champions of the 50-over leg, and they are showing us exactly why.
And you can see Chetan with a couple of wickets under his belt. There's a spring in his stride. In the last game that I saw, he went for a lot of runs when Aremanu Uchil really took him to the cleaners. But it's amazing what a wicket or two can do to a bowler's confidence. That's better. 2 runs very quickly taken by the batsman. And the Stars go up to 62 for 6. And they'll be hoping that these two survive at least the next 5 overs or so to try and take them to a decent total.
That's all they need to do. They need to keep picking the singles and the twos. They just need to keep nudging the ball around and pick those ones and twos for them to build a better total to bowl at.
Rohan Rangaraj is having the tournament of his life. Look at that. Clean pickup, 1 stump to aim at. Gonski. Young Aman Desai walks back with his crestfallen. You do not hit the ball directly to Rohan Ranga and take a single. He was gone. Siddhant Singh calling his partner through. Once again, selling him down the river.
And there was a bullet throw from Rohan, charging in from point. Batsman had no chance. You're right, Chamal. This guy can do no wrong whatsoever. 1 stem to aim at, and he got it flush. There was no chance at all for the batsman there. 62 for 7, and the Crimsons are all over the Stars now.
And I mean, look at that running. Right. There was no dive, there was no crease in the bat. You're under 17 cricketer. Get your t-shirt dirty, man. Put in that dive. I mean, this is a golden opportunity for you and a platform being given for you. Your top order has messed up. The selectors are watching. You're playing big league cricket. This is not your under 16 game. Please. That was very disappointing.
The wickets have been falling at regular intervals. The best way to peg back the scoring rate in a 2020 game is to keep taking wickets. And these guys have been doing it every now and then.
Over, right hand.
Nacha comes into the center. I'm sure Bilal Asad, watching from Malaysia, would be pulling his hair out. At the end of 12 overs, Stars 62 for the loss of 7.
So Jamal, what do you guys reckon? 48 balls left?
Well, I don't see any reason why the Crimsons should allow this game to go the full distance. They should now either bring back Tafara and go for the kill. You know, yes, as we see, I see Tafara Chingwara marking his run-up, and this is very good captaincy by Karabo Motlanka. When you're on top, make sure you go for the kill. And this is the intensity of cricket that would do really well for the youngsters from Singapore to learn. This is not your Sunday game where you turn up in your colored pyjamas and do something called cricket.
I still believe when you wake up in the morning to come and play, you should give it your all. Make sure you leave everything on the ground, because it's not every day that you're going to get a chance to play in such leagues and against such players. So for me, every time you get a chance as a youngster, give it your all and make sure you don't go back to the changing room and you start wishing you had done something differently.
I'd like to see Chingwara bowl a few right up there in the block hole, given that the tailenders are out there, and see the stumps flying around a little bit.
Absolutely. And this is once again very good captaincy. He's having the field up in the 30-yard circle, not giving away that easy single. Karabo Motlanka, a calm-mannered man by nature, but he's really going for the kill here.
Charles, how much do you think does Chingwara clock? What's his speed like at his best, at his quickest?
I would say I think he's clocking 128, 130. You know, back at home we don't have in Uganda we don't have any speed guns, so you can't really tell how much you're clocking. Yeah, but from just the naked eye, maybe 128, 130.
And that was a brutal shot by Siddhant Singh, bashing it down the ground, and very good effort at long on by young Pramesh Singh Havi, throwing himself, trying to cut that boundary off. Vinod Bhaskaran once again, really throwing himself, saving a single for his team. And he got 2 brilliant run-outs in the 50-over game the other day. Really threw the spanner in the works for the Stars. That's the difference fielding can do. It can lift the side up.
Yeah, a couple of run-outs, a couple of brilliant catches. It just completely lifts the morale and takes it to a different level. See, we've seen a lot of that today.
Tafara Chingwara gets another easy wicket. Nacha, it's a nothing shot really, giving catching practice to short cover. Karabo Motlanka makes no mistake. The Crimsons really turning on the screws here. The Stars further sinking in the mire.
I think what the Stars have resorted to is just to hit themselves out. at this point in time they should be picking the singles and the twos just to build onto their total, because they've literally looked like they don't have the ability to get the boundaries. They fail to pick the boundaries. So if they can pick maybe 6 runs from every over going forward, and they look to play out their overs, they'll get to a much better total than just hitting themselves out.
These youngsters really need to have the mindset. Now, I'll tell you a story from the last test match in South Africa, actually the first one in Port Elizabeth. When the last man walked out to bat to join Kusal Janit Perera, Sri Lanka needed 78 runs to win. And
with a new ball.
And with a new ball, with the best pace bowling attack going around in South Africa on home conditions. And Vishwa Fernando was the number 11. And the first thing he said to Kusal Janit when he walked in is, I will make sure I will hit the ball even with my body. You do what you can. Let's try and win this match. He scored 6 runs, 5 of which were overthrows, and Kusal Janit scored the rest. But he said in the post-match interview that what Vishwa Fernando told him when he walked in was what it gave him the confidence that let's take it 10 runs at a time, 10 runs at a time, and see where we go. So these youngsters, they cannot say that the batsmen have thrown it away or today we are not having a full strength side. You're wearing the colors, you're out there, you have to show that you belong.
And Chamal, I think you used the right word, mindset. It's all so much in the mind. These guys should have been thinking survival. Stay there till the 20th over, no matter what. But we kept seeing the big shots coming out. And like Charles was saying, they didn't have the ability to play those strokes and get the ball to the boundary. So I just think not quite thinking the right way is what has cost them.
Yes, like I said, for as long as you wake up in the morning and you've come to play, you should give it your all. You should give it the best that you have, and make sure once you leave that ground, you'll be contented.
Good running by this pair, converting that into 2. And now once again here, the youngster fielding a deep sweeper cover. This is a long boundary. He needs to have that awareness to be a few paces in to cut the second. These are the things you will learn playing at this high level.
Well bowled. I think the one thing I've noticed about the Crimson bowlers is that they've learnt from what they did wrong in the previous game. Chetan bowled a lot of length balls in the previous game, which allowed the batsman to get under the ball and hit him over the top. This time round, he was consciously making an effort to keep it much fuller up to the batsman, not letting the batsman get under and hit it up and over. Similarly, Sangvi is also doing the same thing in the end overs, keeping it well up to the batsman and not letting them get under the ball.
That's a very good bit of fielding in pairs. Saving once again 2 runs for the side. Yusuf Aslam joining Siddhant Singh. Good single, scampered through. And also the other day, Vinod Bhaskaran was fielding at short mid-wicket, and he's a left-hander, and he throws with his left hand. And both the run-outs were conceded by players playing it to his left hand and taking the run. All these little things really matter when you play high level of cricket, because everybody knows how to play a forward defense. You got to be looking at taking those advantages.
Short and cut away for a single. The Stars move on to 74 after 14 overs for the loss of 8 wickets. Still struggling to bat out the 20 overs. Let's see what they can get.
Yes, if they play it to the 20 overs, it's still 36 deliveries. Few extras here and there. A lucky edge. You can get it to 120. It's much more respectable and gives you something to bowl at. But right now, if you get all out with the form that the Crimson's openers, number 3, number 4 and Bunny are in, they're all looking to bat.
And with the kind of form that Rohan's in and the luck he's having, right, everything is going his way. I would back him to get a wicket or two right now.
Oh dear. This is looking like Cirque du Soleil at the moment. It's a comedy. That looked plumb.
Absolutely straight in front of the stumps.
And Siddhant Singh, I had the impression, was a better batsman than he's putting on the show here. He is not looking very good at all.
I think Rohan has every reason to feel disappointed at that first ball. I thought that was hitting middle stump straight. I don't know what made the umpire think otherwise.
Yes, anything below 100, Rohan will be disappointed because he might miss out on a 50 when he's batting. He's in that hungrier form. What I've really liked about him is that he's put a prize on his wicket and he's not thrown it away. Even when he got the 100 the other evening, he never looked like he was going to get out. This ball has gone miles in the air. Deep mid wicket.
And if there is a man of the series award for this tournament, I think Rohan's is a big candidate.
Absolutely.
No, Manoj, Manoj, छोड़ दे, Stop, Manoj.
So Jamal, tell me more about Singapore cricket. How many grounds do you have? How many leagues do you have? And how many cricketers in total do you have?
That's a good delivery. Played away to deep mid wicket. And you can see Rohan Rangaraj screaming, going after that ball. Good bit of cricket all around. The batsman collect 2, but the bowler herring after that one, having the awareness. Yes, actually, apart from the 11 test playing nations, Singapore has one of the biggest cricket leagues in the world. We have many forms of leagues and tournaments going on. Apart from the main one held by the Singapore Cricket Association, which has up to Division 6, starting from Premier, and each category has around 12 to 13 teams. And there's also a corporate league where it hosts 2 divisions. So I think well over 1,500 cricketers are in colours on the parks at various points in time, both playing during the day and under lights.
That's very, very, those are brilliant numbers. How do you even manage to play such lots of cricket on a small, it's Singapore Island? The small island of 42 square miles?
Yes, actually there are numerous grounds dotted all around Singapore. We have only 3 grounds active at the moment that has turf or clay wickets in place, but there are many grounds that has the artificial surfaces, the Astros in place, and there's a lot of cricket been taking place on all these surfaces. It's mostly at the social and lower league levels, but there's a Premier and Division 1 and up to Division 6 being conducted by the Singapore Cricket Association. That's a better shot, played straight down to long on. Chetan Suryavanshi uncharacteristically misfields and concedes 4 runs. That's a rarity.
And that's the first boundary we've seen in a long, long time.
And that's the first one I've seen Chetan misfield in like 12 years.
And clearly you can see he was not letting it go. He fought till the end.
Yes, he's a fighter. It can happen to anyone. The Stars would gladly accept the donation.
So, Chamal, you'd say cricket is the number one sport in Singapore?
Hardly. I wish it was. The government had taken away the national ground. So, at the moment, the Singapore Cricket Association is working closely with the Sports Council to remedy that. And this particular facility belongs to the Indian Association. So they have collaborated with the Singapore Cricket Association to have these floodlights. And yes, the association is looking to have a permanent home in terms of a ground. And that should be sorted out in the near future, especially given the interest and the level of cricket now being played. And also there's discussions to see how the national stadium, which can house a capacity of well over 100,000, to be utilized for cricket.
That would be very brilliant because it's one of the best facilities that I've seen in the world. It would be very nice to see cricket being played at the OCBC arena. It's a very, very brilliant facility. So speaking of the government taking away the ground, is there sort of a fight between the association and the government, or this ground they're taken away and given back after a period of time?
That ball played away to sweep a cover. No, actually in Singapore, there's a long-term policy for everything. They have a green plan and a blue plan, and the green plan dictates land usage, and the blue plan governs the usage of all the water bodies. So the government makes an assessment of the land allocation, looking at how it aligns with the national policies, and accordingly decides which lands should be allocated for which purposes.
They'll race away to the boundary. It's a quick outfield. So the Stars are pulling something back here. Second boundary, 91 for 8. Runs coming off edges, misfields, but they don't care so long as it comes. 91 for 8 of 16.4.
It doesn't matter how they come.
Yes, Yusuf Aslam aiming for the front V, capitalizing on the back V. It doesn't matter at all at this stage.
Wouldn't have thought they could have got through even to 91. Couple of lucky breaks, some edges here and there. But they're inching their way forward now. This will fall short too, in between two fielders, and they're back through desperately for the second run. It's 91, or rather 93 for 8 now, at the end of the 17th over.
Yes, Yusuf Aslam running very hard between the wickets there, leaving dangerously, but that doesn't matter. The Stars will take it all, no matter how they come.
That's true. These are the slog overs that I talked about earlier on. I mean, at this point in time, you need one of your top 4 to still be batting. And you can clearly see they are struggling to pick boundaries, because at this point in time, you need to be picking more boundaries than the singles and the twos. But because of the inability by the guys that are on the wicket to pick boundaries, it leaves them with only the twos and the singles.
Ramesh Singh Harvey continuing from the Balestier Road end.
And I suspect the batting side would rather have somebody quicker at this stage on a surface like this. It's harder to hit the slower bowlers. They'd like somebody slightly quicker off the wicket, even if it means a few edges flying here and there. And Singhvi is not the kind of bowler that can hit over the top that easily. Sure enough, he's given away only 2 runs of his first 2. The Stars move up to 94 for 8.
It's very intelligent bowling by this young man.
He's not picked up a wicket, but he's done a great job. Into his fourth over, only given away 17, which in T20 cricket is really great figures to have. Dot ball in the 18th, Jamal. That's really great bowling.
That is gold dust. Oh dear. Yusuf Aslam living dangerously. Being called through there. Slightly better throw would have had him.
So Jamal, should we expect more cricket grounds to be put up in Singapore with the same facilities like at the IA, floodlights, and more games to be played at night?
Yes, I think the plan is to maximize the utilization, even looking at putting in temporary lighting at existing facilities, and as we spoke a little while ago, utilizing the national stadium with maybe a drop-in pitch like they used to do in Australia at the Telstra Dome to promote cricket. So there's been great support by the Sports Council to promote cricket, because it's been identified as one of the plucked away to sweep a cover for another single. He has been identified as a great way to integrate some of the expatriates living and working here from the subcontinent, Australia and England and New Zealand, as well as a great platform for youth development. So the Sports Council has been firmly behind the push for cricket, supporting the Singapore Cricket Association's numerous initiatives.
Yeah, like I said, the OCBC Arena, the main stadium, will be a very nice venue for cricket. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the turf was also laid by the Australians, because I saw recently there was a rugby game between the was it the Sharks and another team from Australia, and after that rugby game the turf was rolled away and I think moved to another area for storage.
Oh, no, it's got.
They should come back for two easily. Nicely played by the batsman.
Yes, that's the type of cricket that's required at the moment. And these two batsmen have shown the top order players maybe what was required.
They've got to 100 with a gentle little dab down to short third man. They've saved themselves a few blushes by getting to at least 100. 100 for 8 of 18.2. And full credit to Siddhant Singh and Yusuf Aslam for getting them there.
Can they get to 120 in the next few balls?
I think the best bet to get runs is when Chingwara comes on for the 20th over for his last, because that's when there'll be pace on the ball for the batsman to take a swing at it, and hopefully a few edges will fly here and there and get them to that 120 that they want so badly.
But Chingwara has been so tidy this evening. He has stayed straight. He has kept it in the stumps, going wide of the crease and making sure he's hitting the middle stump line. So it will be very hard for them to get those outside edges.
It's a good bit of fielding by Naveen Param, patrolling the sweeper cover boundary, putting the tumbling dive in, saving 2 for his team. Vinod Bhaskaran operating in the depth overs, doing a very good job.
No, that's fine, boys. That's fine, boys.
Yes, Siddhant Singh hanging in there.
26 of 29 for him under the circumstances, not bad at all.
Yes, precious runs for the Stars. Also giving a word of encouragement to Yusuf Aslam, who's been very busy since his arrival to the crease, running those runs hard, once again showing a lot of heart. Again goes inside out. Once again running hard. Both these two cricketers very fit and quick between the wickets. Yusuf with the low center of gravity, turning quickly between the stumps.
Pretty handy partnership, 38 of 37 balls.
Yes, if you take 38 out of 105, doesn't make much for writing home. And we are into the last over. Who is it going to be? Looks like Tafara Chingwara, ambling to the bowler's end. Yes.
And this should be fun because now it's time for the batsman to really take a few swings at it.
And the good thing is Siddhant Singh is on strike, and he's the more capable player of the two, that is with the bat in hand.
$105 for 8 of 19. We're into the last over. 6 balls to go. And the Stars would give anything to get about 15 runs from this over and get that total to 120. It gives them something to bowl.
Yes, 3 overs for 9. I will not have my money on Tafa going for 15 runs in this over, but that would exactly be what the Stars are thinking for.
They should look for 2 here.
2 is the call straight away. Good running. Put the pressure. Vinod Bhaskaran disappointed he didn't gather cleanly. Sets high standards in the field.
But Charles was right. I think Chingwara had the right intention there, going for the block hole, pitching it well up to the batsman. Batsman did well to get some back to ball and come back quickly for 2.
I mean, that's all you have to do as a bowler in the slog overs, mostly the last over, where the batsmen are looking to swing at every ball. All you have to do is keep it straight in the stumps. You miss, I hit.
Oh, that's magnificently played. Unbelievable shot.
That's a very big shot. Weak call. Excellent execution. He's going Brendan McCallum here on Tafa.
And that's what I meant, Chamala, about having pace on the ball. Only a bowler with pace, a batsman could hit a shot like that. I mean, that was well up. He read his mind and helped it along beautifully.
As a bowler, there's nothing you can do about that, but he stuck to his lines. I mean, that is pretty innovative from the batsman. It's how world cricket has changed today. You see batsmen somersaulting down the wicket to attack the bowlers.
Look at that shot.
That's a 6.
Went flat.
Well, it looks like Tafa's going around the park a bit here. Magnificent shot. Siddhant Singh standing up for the Stars here. This is more like it. He is showing the selectors and the rest of his teammates using this platform.
He's gone for 10 of the first 3. Are we going to see the slow one now?
Excellent call, Charlesy. Our fellow commentator, medium pacer here, is reading his compatriot there like a book.
I knew that was coming very soon, because after being pedaled for 4 and then hit for 6, the only thing that comes to your mind is a slower ball, just to make sure the batsman cools down a bit.
2 balls to go. This should be great fun.
It's very intelligent bowling, but the key is the execution. Thinking is in the right place, execution is in the right place. But Siddhant Singh, he's played a great hand here. 38 of 34, irrespective what happens on this delivery. He's done a great job for the Stars. And he's shown his talent. That's what youngsters need to do when they're given the opportunity. Take it with both hands. And Ro, you're absolutely right. Looks like Tafa might go for those runs. Let's see how this over finishes.
It's a dot ball.
Stumps or dot ball? Let's see how it goes.
missing straight to the keeper.
Oh, that's gone miles up. That's the biggest six of the night so far.
That has gone out of the park. Huge hit.
Charles, 16 of this over, not 15.
I think 17, isn't it? That is a massive over. 18 runs our scorer tells us.
All you have to do is swing through the line for the last over. No time to hang around. The Stars finish on 123 for 8 in their 20 overs.
Yes, and that's why I was surprised that Siddhant Singh was sent at number 8. You know, below Aditya Rangaswamy, and these are the last shots.
What a last over.
Look at that, a little flick behind over the wicket keeper's head. That's that flat pull shot. Dented the banner. And then the last one down the track, he missed it, the slower leg cutter. Then the last ball with the connection, really backing himself. That one went miles. Magnificent shot.
Just that right length for the batsman, cleared his left leg, had the room to swing his arms, and that went all the way out of the park.
And look at that scorecard. Apart from the 31 up top, nothing else from the batsman. And young Siddhant Singh and Yusuf Aslam really showing how it should have been done. Wonderful. At least there's going to be a fight. And in cricket, never say never.
You never know if the Stars can get a couple of quick wickets in the first 2 or 3 overs. They'll fancy themselves, because these guys have boosted the morale of the team by really putting up a great fight in the last few overs.
I think for me, Rohan is going to be the key player in this chase. If they can pick him early in the innings, then they'll have a chance. But if they let him knock down a few 2, 3 fours, then he will be into the game and they will sail home within no overs.
Couldn't agree with you more. Rohan's not looked like getting out throughout this tournament. If they get him out early, they're in with a good chance.
We'll join you shortly with the Crimson's chase.
Hi, this is Bappi Larry, your Bappida. I am coming to Singapore 16 March. Zep and Big Box.
तूने मारी एंट्री यार दिल में बजी घंटी यार टंग तूने मारी एंट्री यार दिल में बजी घंटी यार टंग
Crimsons are now starting their chase. They need to get 124 to win in the next 20 overs. It's going to be the left-handed Aditya Rangaswamy from the Balestier Road end. Taking strike is going to be Rohan Rangaraj. Or is it Rohan? I beg your pardon. It's the left-hander who will take strike. It's Karoba, the left-hander. Rohan's at the non-striker's end. Away goes Aditya Rangaswamy. Well pitched up, good first delivery to start. Bit of a mix-up, and the batsman desired against the single. Straight away on target is Aditya Rangaswamy. Different kind of bowler. Bowls off the wrong foot. Important thing is he keeps the ball well up to the batsman. Important he makes the batsman play as many deliveries as possible now. These guys need wickets, do the Crimsons, to try and put the pressure. Well bowled by Aditya Rangaswamy, the batsman getting a thickish inside edge. The outfield was so quick. The ball was racing away, but the fielder does well to get to it. Enough time for the batsman to run 3. Crimsons off the mark, 3 for no loss of the first over.
One bowling round to you. That's leg stop.
The bowler is now switching to round the wicket. Bowl to Rohan Rangarajan. And the Singapore Stars would give anything to get Rohan out in this over. No fieldsmen in catching positions though. There's a man at gully. The rest are in single saving positions, but as we speak, bowlers making a few changes here and there, but no one now really in catching positions except the fielder at gully. They might just think in terms of having a slip to get that early wicket. Rangaswamy bowls, nice delivery, letting it go, getting a bit of movement away from the batsman. And Rohan Rangarajan does well to let it go through, watching it all the way. Aditya Rangaswamy, the kind of bowler who doesn't have much pace, but lets the ball go, keeps it well up, and let it do a little bit in the air and off the wicket. Oh, this is quicker through the air and off the track, and Rohan Rangarajan plays and misses. The Stars really should be thinking in terms of getting a slip or two in, because Aditya is getting the ball to move away, cut away from the batsman. And the last one missed the outside edge. It'll be a pity if an edge goes a-begging. They're defending a very small total, mind you, and they need wickets.
Go!
That's well up. No ball. Rohan slashes. And Aditya Rangaswamy undoes all the good work that he's done in this over. It's all undone by that full toss. Gives Rohan a free swing, gets him for 4 past point, and what's more, concedes a free hit because it's been called a no ball. And this was a no ball because the bowler overstepped the crease, not because of height. Has let the batsman off the hook after a very good first 3 balls. That's the free hit, and Aditya is sending it wide down the leg side, so he's got to bowl that all over again. The free hit stays. First 4 deliveries sent. The Crimsons are 9 without loss. It's going to be very interesting to see what Rohan does with this free hit. He's already got 1 boundary under his belt. Mid-on's up, mid-off's up in the circle. Mid-wicket is inside the 30 yards, so wide open spaces for Rohan to aim over the fielders, which is exactly what it does, but this time it's behind the wicket-keeper's head. The ball's carried, would you believe it, all the way to find third man for 6.
Yes, Aditya Rangaswamy's pace working against him. And he has been bowling a fair few no balls right throughout this EPS. Has had problems with that front line.
Started off well with the first 3 balls, but then it's been all over the place after that. This is hardly the start that the Stars would like. 15 already of the first over. Beautifully played by Rohan. That's racing away down to square leg, and that'll go all the way.
This is poor bowling. One on the off side, one on the leg side. Short, wide, full half volleys. He's bowled the full cart of apples in the first over. Crimson's 19 for the loss of no wicket. Hardly the start the Stars would have wanted from their experienced bowler.
And the man they would like to see in the pavilion is 14 of 5 balls.
As there's not many to chase down, he wants to ensure that he buckets another 50.
The Stars are now trying to get the pace off the ball, getting the spinner in. Yusuf Aslam, he's had a good run with the bat. His confidence with the ball should be high after getting those runs. So will he be the bowler that gives the Stars those early breakthroughs that they so desperately need?
Yes, Karabomont Lanka would like him to be rotating the strike around, nudging the 1s and 2s, his usual game. Yusuf Aslam would be looking to get an early wicket, an early breakthrough here. Get the Stars back in this game. Reza Ghaznavi with a few words of advice and encouragement to his young bowler. And an underneath edge flies to the fence.
Good try, buddy, good try.
Aditya Rangaswamy throws in the dive. Why not?
Boys!
The bowler is pushing it through, the ball's new, the outfield's quick, and that under edge left the fielder at short third man with no chance whatsoever. 23 for 2 in very quick time. It's only 1.2 overs up for the Singapore Stars.
Easy. Back up.
Yes, the Crimsons too got off to a flyer when, the Stars too got off to a flyer when they were starting, but they were pulled back by that regular loss of wickets. But on the other hand, the Crimsons batsmen, right throughout this tournament, they haven't looked like throwing away their wickets at all.
I'm keen to see how Rohan fares against the spinner. He's shown a very mature head right through this tournament. .3 overs gone, 24 for no loss. The Crimsons chasing 123 to win.
No run bowled, you see.
It's a good delivery, and given the due respect. This is the other aspect about Rohan Ranga's batting that I really like. He doesn't premeditate much. But bats with a very clear head, plays each ball on its merit.
Busy player, keeps the scoreboard moving all the time.
Absolutely, when he's not tonking them out of the park, keeps rotating the strike. And not very often you get to bowl a string of deliveries at him and execute any sort of plan.
Well bowled and well left.
Sorry.
At the end of 2 overs, Crimson's 25 for the loss of no wicket. Karabomont Lanka playing his normal game. He's in no hurry. There's no reason why the Crimsons should be hurried at all. Welcome, Chelsea, to the comp box again.
Thank you, Mr. Jamal Silva.
How do you think the Stars should go about this? Well, they seem to be rotating their bowlers. Siddhant Singh now marking his run-up from the Balestier Road end.
I think that was a foregone conclusion. They couldn't have had Aditya back bowling the third over after going for 19 of his very first, because another over like that and the game's is almost over.
Yes, it's almost like an injured racehorse be taken to the boundary line and shot. I think that's a bit harsh. Aditya Rangasamy gives his 100%, but it doesn't always go his way. That's what they do to racehorses if they are injured, actually. They are shot. I am not suggesting that the Stars adopt a similar methodology with Aditya Rangasamy.
What I think for such a small score, the Stars captain should be looking to change his bowlers. Like don't let Rohan get used to one bowler. Give 1-1 over for the different bowlers. That's a brilliant shot from Rohan.
This man is in form. He's seen the ball like a football, and he effortlessly deposits Siddhant Singh. And that was not an easy shot. That ball was tailing into his legs. His proud parents watching there. And why not? This young man is batting brilliantly.
I mean, he just held his pose after playing that shot. Slight of build. He's not a big built man, but that shot had a touch of class.
Yes, wrists of steel, very strong in the hands.
Oh, that's a big one.
They've got the most important wicket. Kshitij Shinde making no mistake at backward point. Siddhant Singh draws the error. Rohan Ranga playing it slightly uppishly. Almost the first stroke of error in this entire tournament by him.
So is there a twist here, Jamal? Is there something in there in this game?
This is a very big twist. The Stars will go down fighting after getting the big wicket of Rohan.
Yes, that would really boost them. Looks like Naveen Param walking into the middle. And they have to keep picking wickets regularly. They are to stay in this fight. But that's a very good start, picking up Rohan Ranga.
Yes, I remember Naveen Param and Rohan Ranga came down to Uganda for the WCL Div 3 in 2017. It's pretty amazing how they've transformed their style of play and their kind of game. They've improved brilliantly. Last I saw them, they were pretty small boys, but now they're built, they're very strong, and the style of play has completely changed. They look to be very, very complete cricketers, and they've matured a lot. I must say they've worked pretty hard on their games.
Charles, Jamal, would you guys have a slip in for the new batsmen? These guys need wickets. I don't think they can defend this total. The only way they can make a match of this is to pick up all these wickets. So would you guys have a couple of attacking fielders in there?
I would have a slip nailed to the ground permanently.
Yeah, I would get a slip in because Param is the guy who looks to nudge it down earlier on when he's starting his innings. So a bit of movement from Siddhant will be, maybe it will force him to nick one to sleep, and maybe a chance there. But also we'll try and get the guys in the inner ring just to cut off the singles, because he's a guy who will build on singles going forward.
So could this be Siddhant Singh's match? He's had a great time with the bat. He's picked up a very crucial wicket. So could it be the day when he wins the game for his team? Well bowled.
Stars would be disappointed that that single wasn't cut. But they had the man backing at sweeper, which was a good thing. Yes, Siddhant Singh stood up with the bat. Can he do it with the ball? With the new ball under lights, moving it a little bit. It's always good to have that slip in there. What they have done well is to have the best gloveman behind the stumps today. They have young Aman Desai. There's 3 wicket keepers on the park. When I'm saying wicket keepers, yes, I would leave it at that. There's Sithit Shinde and Gontina Santosh. They are also glovemen, but today they have entrusted the gloves to Aman Desai, which I think is a good choice.
Siddhant's got a gully catching. It's not easy for him because it's a left-right combination out there right now.
I think that's a very good field placing for Karabo, Madlanka. He normally plays that kind of late cut, not a cut shot, but he plays it late, and that's his area of operation.
Yes, what that express start did was took all the pressure off these 2 players who are usually rotators of the strike, and they do possess the ability to put the bad one away. So it has no scoreboard pressure on them whatsoever. But having said that, they must look to score during these power play overs and make their job easier, not leave too much to be done later on.
Also, Chamar, in cricket they say just add 2 wickets to the total and see how it looks. So these guys can pick up 2 wickets now very quickly. If they are something like 40 for 3, I think then there is a fight on their hands. There's the shot that Charles was talking about, playing it late, direct hit, big appeal, but I thought the batsman was in. That's the shot Charles was talking about, playing it late, down to backward point.
Yes, he plays almost that glide off the face of the bat, is directing the ball. At the end of 3 overs, Crimson's 32 for the loss of 1. Husnain Shah not playing for the Stars today. He's nursing an hamstring strain. He's on the park today, keeping a close eye on his teammates. Ahan Acha comes into the attack from the Serangoon road end. This is where this game will get interesting. Young Ahan Acha, very accurate bowler, also capable of picking up those wickets. And another youngster that has impressed me in this tournament with his accuracy and control.
I think the youngsters have they've been so exposed in this tournament. They've been given a chance to showcase their talent in this kind of tournament, which is a good thing for them to grasp and understand the game in depth, rather than bring you on the big stage and then you all lost and confused and you don't know what to do. But it's good for Singapore cricket to expose their youngsters at a very early age, and they get to, they stop being soft, and they will start hardening up as time goes on.
Good start, they threw for 1.
Naveen Param is so good at this, allowing the ball to come on, giving it direction, and he hits gaps and constantly rotates the strike. We've seen 2 Params on show in this EPS, Naveen and Prasheen. We haven't seen the elder brother, Anis Param.
Where is the third one?
Anis Param, I believe, is in Australia.
What's with Singapore and Australia? What is with Singapore and Australia? Looks like there's so many cricketers from Singapore who are in Australia. Are they down studying university or playing cricket?
Anish Param, I believe, is playing for a club there in Australia. And he also plays in the minor counties in England. So he's a very good cricketer, very good batsman.
So how close is Singapore to Australia? Which is the closest city?
Perth. Perth would be the closest city.
1 hour's flight?
Yes. If you were taking an F-16, perhaps you could reach there in 1 hour.
Down the leg side, I think the margin for error in a game like this, very, very low. The total's very, very small. It's 123. They can't afford to bowl rubbish like that. It was way down the leg side.
Lucky not to be signalled a wide. Karabo Matlanka, he's not been his usual fluid self apart from one innings which he played in this tournament, but he'll be looking to stay there to the end today, guide his team.
Nicely played off his legs by the batsman. They threw for 1.
Speaking of F-16s, Mr. Jamal Silva, are there any youngsters who are serving in the national, serving in the Air Force? Because those are really brilliant machines to be flying.
We'll have a chat after looking at this replay. I think there might have been a bit of glove, that's why that ball was not called a wide. No, there seemed to be clear daylight. But anyway, the man that matters seemed to have thought it wasn't a wide. Not that I know of. I think most of the men are in the commando unit and in the army. None in the Air Force that I know of.
4 overs gone. It's 34 for 1. The man who's looked most likely to pick a wicket, Siddhant Singh, is running away from us now. The gully fielder who was catching is now moved a lot squarer.
Yeah, which is a good thing to move him a bit more square, because I think Rabul is going to give a chance where he is standing currently.
Yes, and he keeps on playing this shot and missing. That's why I really think you need to have a slip in there. Speaking of F-16s and fighter planes, I had a very interesting experience. Some time back we were in Colombo and supposed to fly to Trincomalee in Sri Lanka during the war for some charity work, and we were transported on a attack helicopter by the Air Force. They took off from Colombo. I'll continue after this delivery. Once again, beautifully played. Karabo Matlanka clipping it off his legs. Majestic shot. Siddhant Singh would not be too happy with that. But that was played off the stumps. Glorious shot. 4 runs. Yes, and just before we landed in Trincomalee, which was quite close to the conflict zone, the helicopter released flares, which was to divert any heat seekers or surface to air strike missiles that would have been aimed at the helicopter. But unfortunately, they forgot to tell me that. Karabo Matlanka drills it through the gap to sweeper.
Is that when you said your last prayers?
I wish. I mean, I was sitting happily having a conversation, and suddenly the chopper started weaving and bobbing, and there was live explosions going around me. It would be safe to say the lunch was on the floor. I have never been more scared in my life.
Good experience with the F-16s.
These were old Russian-built helicopters. They were not the safest to begin with, but once the Fire flares started flying. I did think I had seen better days.
Was that during the regime of Rajapaksa?
Yes, it was during President Rajapaksa's time, yes.
Yeah, I remember him coming down to Uganda sometime back in 2007, 6, around that time. Not really remember very well. I came down to Uganda and he invited the cricket team down to have a chat with them. And he actually offered us that's for a ball to Sidant, patched down the ground for one by Karabo. I think Sidant is coming in nicely. He's trying to keep it as straight as possible, and he has so far done well in his first 2 overs. Given out 14 runs and picked up a wicket.
Yes, the Crimson's 41 for the loss of 1 at the end of 5 overs. Yes, what's been good also is that despite this defense of this low total being challenging, I think Reza's had an in and out field, protecting some of those boundaries, because he can't afford to allow too many boundaries to be conceded early on, because that would take the game away from the Stars.
Let me ask you this, Charles. Is there a lot of Indian food in Uganda? Have you tried some of it?
Paratha, dosa, paneer, Hyderabad biryani,
Really?
chutney, idli, gunpowder.
That's the whole menu.
I can literally set up my own Indian restaurant in Kampala and I'll be the chef.
I would certainly dine at that.
Good boys.
But I must say I love Indian food. I think they've got the best chefs in the world. Quite a lot of Asians back at home. I'd say probably 2 million Asians living in Uganda. Yeah, I must say we are blessed to have them back after what happened in 1978 with former President General Amin Dada. The Asians currently run about 60-70% of the economy. So many factories owned by Asians. They employ a big number of the population. So maybe if what happened in 1978 did happen, Uganda would be playing maybe Test cricket by now. For sure, I must say, would be playing Test cricket by now.
Ahanacha conceding a boundary there. Karabo Montlanka quietly but steadily progressing. 19 of 22. Making sure the Crimsons are guided safely in this chase.
Karabo is a very, very patient man. He will hang around and wait for that loose delivery. And once he gets one, he will pounce on it and make the most of it.
Looking for a quick single there. Intercepted by Avi Dixit. The score remains 45 for the loss of 1 at the end of 6 overs. Thus far, the extras have been kept down. I think that might have also been due to Aditya Rangasamy only bowling the first over.
I mean, you can't afford to be bowling extras in such a low-scoring game. So there is little to play with. So you'll expect maximum discipline from your bowlers.
Siddhant Singh continues from the Balestier Road end, conceding only 14 off his 2 and also picking up the crucial wicket of Rohan Ranga there. He'll be looking to get another one. The power plays are now over. It's a good delivery and good bit of fielding of his own bowling.
It's also a good call from Karabo Motalanga. The calling in this tournament has not been that nice. A bit of mix-up with the batsmen, a striker not keeping an eye on the non-striker, guys meeting halfway and then having to run back to their crease. So that's a good call from Karabo.
That's a good shot for a single. Naveen Param, understanding exactly what is required of him in this chase. That's another aspect of this youngster's game that I'm very pleased with. He understands what exactly the match situation requires. Doesn't do anything fancy, puts a prize on his wicket, puts his head down, plays solid cricket.
Yeah, like I said, Param has changed his style of play. He's a guy who used to come around and just smack a few, not hang around for quite some time, and probably give you a quick 30. And I mean, these are not scores for batsmen. A quick 30, you cannot call yourself a batsman. So he has changed his style of play now. He looks to hang around a bit more, graft, and build his inning and get to a better score.
Yes, he certainly has matured and has now become a more hungry batsman. And I remember actually even watching Anis Param coming of age through the young ranks. He used to work very hard in the nets and spend hours in the bowling machine and playing throwdowns, working on his game. Also kept very fit. And he certainly improved his cricket. And there was a tournament sometime back held here. And he really came out on top, even playing international class bowlers, making it look easy. It's a free hit here. Siddhant Singh. He didn't be too pleased with that. 4 runs. Flung away. He even added a grunt, trying to distract the batsman.
That's a good one. But still,
didn't work.
Naveen Param held his nerve and waited for that slow ball, and clipped it off his legs down leg. Third man for 4. Walks down the track and the ball was a short one, Siddhant.
Yes, he almost made Siddhant bowl it into him. Then was clever enough just to tuck the single with soft hands. To his credit, Siddhant to bowl it straight and quick. Once again drifting on the pads. Karabo Matlanka flicking it away to deep mid wicket for a single. Avi Dixit doing the fielding.
Crimson's 54 for 1 after 7 overs, ending another 70 runs of 78 balls. Naveen Param on 9 of 9, Karabo Muturanga on 21 of 26.
Sure, buddy. रोहित इधर 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 थोड़ा ठीक है बहुत नहीं.
Yusuf Aslam coming in.
Oh, ball, yaar.
This is a good bit of bowling by Yusuf. Keeping it tight. Seems to be getting a bit of drift. Those off cutters.
Run. Shubhani.
Well ball once again from
Boys.
Yusuf. He has done well to keep it straight.
Karabo Matlanka skying it. Siddhant Singh gets underneath it. It takes the catch. He's done well everything this game, batting, bowling, and now hanging on to that skyer. It was not an easy catch under the lights.
Indeed, today looks like it is his day. Everything is going to him. That was a bit uncalled for from Karabo. That has not been his role throughout the tournament. He's been the anchorman for the Stars. I don't know what happened to him.
And now
to go for a slog sweep and leave it the ball on square.
That has given a little opening for the Stars.
The Stars might be smelling victory here. A few maidens and dot balls, then the rate will be at par.
Chetan Suryavanshi strides into the middle. If they can get his wicket, I tell you what, the Stars would be in with a chance. Chetan striding in confidently. He would be looking to make an impactful contribution here today. Now Kampala, if I'm not mistaken, borders the Great Lake Victoria.
Yes, it does.
I have been on the other side in Kisumu in Kenya, but I've never had the pleasure of crossing over to the Ugandan side of Lake Victoria. Tell us a little bit about the cuisine, the culture and the vibe of Kampala, Charlesy.
Actually, I was born and bred in Jinja, which is about 80 km out of Kampala. So most times, but schooled half in Jinja, then half in Kampala. So most cricket is played in Kampala, so I used to come down every weekend to Kampala. But with time, I moved to Kampala, but home is Jinja. Yeah, Kampala is, we call it the city of 7 hills. I'll continue from there.
It's a good delivery. First up, but it looks like it's now in Paramount strike. This has been a very good over from young Yusuf Aslam. He also bowled in the power plays. He's done a good job here for the captain.
Yes, if they can continue picking the dot balls, that will be very brilliant for the Stars.
And that's an excellent bit of fielding, young Hanacha.
And looks like a maiden wicket is coming in for the Stars, which will create more pressure on the Stars. Sorry, on the Crimsons.
That's a very good bit of batting. If you see, just before that delivery was bowled, Naveen Param shifted his base to almost outside off stump, allowing him to play with the angle and beat that fielder for a single. At the end of 8 overs, Crimson's 55 for the loss of 2.
So yeah, Kampala is a city of, we call it a city of 7 hills with a diverse culture. You get so many people from different walks of tribes descending onto Kampala because it's a capital. Anyone would move into the capital to look for a better life, a better job. It's where most of the government institutions are based and all that. So many expatriates working in Kampala, working for various embassies, international schools, NGOs. So many people living in Kampala.
Once again, quick single scampered.
But yeah, speaking of Lake Victoria, it's one of the biggest lakes in the world, producing the tilapia and the Nile perch. That's one of the best things that the tourists will enjoy when they come down. If you haven't had a taste of the Nile perch or the tilapia, then you've not been to Uganda. And it's also the main exporter, the main revenue earner for Uganda. Lots of fish is exported to the outside world, mainly Europe, Asia, and the United States. So Lake Victoria employs a greater number of the population back at home.
This is a very good line, nice and early to Chetan Suryavanshi. I would really like to see a slip in there for the new batsman. I mean, his top ball comes in with the arm, but one or two tends to grip the surface and turn away. And it would be a shame if an edge is secured and there's no one there to take it.
It will also create more pressure on Chetan. I see the Stars bowling so well here and creating pressure.
And as we speak, Hanacha delivers a poor ball down the leg side. Wide, concedes a boundary as well.
I mean, those are free runs given away. You cannot afford to bowl down the leg. And to make matters worse, and it's a wide.
Good single, scampered through, knowing exactly where the field is.
We actually also got quite a good number of Sri Lankans living in Kampala. So, Mr. Chamal Silva, you should, I think, make a trip down to Kampala. One of the local clubs is owned by a Sri Lankan, which is a good thing. I mean, most cricket in Uganda is, most of the clubs I would say are Asian clubs, but you'll find a few locals playing for the Asian teams as well. But very few clubs are local, like you'll wake up on a Sunday and see one whole team full of local players. You'll find those to be very, very few.
Yes, you have certainly convinced me, and I look forward to making that journey to Kampala. Sounds a very interesting place, full of culture, cuisine, and things to do. Chetan Suryavanshi hits the marker there at long off. 64 for the loss of 2 at the end of 9 overs. Crimson's steadily progressing.
And Jamal, you'll be surprised when you come down to Uganda that you will not really have the fun in Kampala. But the fun, you'll get it when you're out of Kampala, when you travel to the western side of the country to do a safari. We'll get to see the silverbacks, that there are only 500 left in the world. They're actually facing extinction, and you can only find them between Uganda and Rwanda. So that's the only place you can find the silverbacks in the world. So it's a very big tourist attraction for us back at home, and has also generated a lot of revenue for the government. You can also check out the River Nile, travel to my hometown in Jinja and do the rafting and conquer the Nile.
Avi Dixit marks out his run-up from the Serangoon road end. He's been putting in a lot of work on his game, especially together with Bilal Azad, coach of the Stars and the national coach of Singapore. Steaming in. Bowls it full. He's looking for the block hole. Smashed away there by Chetan Suryavanshi, and a very good bit of fielding by Yusuf Aslam. That must have hurt his fingers. The young man doing well today with bat, ball, and now on the field. Showing great commitment towards the cause of the Stars. It's great to see. Avidistit
misses a few steps in his run-up, which is a very good thing to see the youngsters doing. Most youngsters, when they miss a few steps in their run-up, they continue through and deliver the ball, whereby they end up missing the mark. Yeah, the bad ball that is hit for 4. Once again, he misses a few steps, which is okay. You can always take as much time as you can, for as long as you get it right.
Especially when you're defending 123, you have all night. He'll do well not to miss it a fair few more times, because that would encourage the umpires to maybe intervene. That was a beautiful delivery, jagging back in from the seam. See, very economical action. Maybe slightly his upper trunk falling away at the last minute. But there was a good presentation of the seam, the ball moving back off the surface. Can he do something special here for the Stars?
Well bowled once again. Those are 4 dots from the youngster. Chetan looks to be nowhere.
He's looking to pierce that gap backward of point. He's got very quick hands, likes hitting it through the offside. Chetan Suryavanshi glides it down to third man. Siddhant Singh doing the fielding. There's a steady crowd building here, watching the cricket under lights, enjoying dinner and a few chilled brews here at the Indian Association. Young Reza Ghaznavi having a word to his bowler, giving him a few words of encouragement. Naveen Param hits the marker at long on and rotates the strike. At the end of 10 overs, Crimsons 66 for the loss of 2.
So I see two grounds next to each other here. The Singapore Indian Association, and then the next one is the Ceylon Sports Club. Is there any relationship going on, or they were set up differently? Are they managed differently? What's the arrangement like here?
The Ceylon Sports Club was set up in 1923 and it moved to Balestier Road in 1928, and it has its origin in the Ceylonese or the Sri Lankan community. And the Indian Association Cricket Ground, I believe, was moved here in 1924, and the late great Prime Minister Sri Jawaharlal Nehru laid the foundation stone here at the Indian Association Cricket Ground. And the great Prime Minister who won independence for Sri Lanka, the late S.W. D.S. Senanayake, I beg your pardon, led the foundation stone at Ceylon Sports Club. There have been players even of the likes of Sir Don Bradburn who played at Ceylon Sports Club on his way through. So there's a lot of history here in Balestier, and these two great clubs have a great history of friendship, rivalry, competition, and coexistence.
That's brilliant to hear. The two communities are working hand in hand for the good of the game. I see more games being played at the Indian Association than the Ceylon. Why is that?
Yes, one reason is the lights, and the other also being that, I'll tell you after this delivery. Aditya Rangaswamy being brought back. Here's an opportunity and he was miles gone, had that hit. Naveen Param, he was gone for all money. There was no single there. Aditya Rangaswamy, he should have come to the stumps. He had no business standing at the center of the wicket, watching a movie almost and scratching his chin. Reza Ghaznavi too missed striking the stumps down and also conceded an overthrow. They'd be disappointed. Once again, tonked away to sweeper. Lolit Babu doing the fielding there. Yes, and the Indian Association Club also has a very active soccer and hockey section. So there's a lot more activity here.
So should we see any lights on the Ceylon Sports Club very soon? It will be very beautiful to watch two games going on, running concurrently at night on these two different grounds.
Yes, the reason for the club not having the lights, it's the orientation of the club and the size of the club. At the Indian Association, the square boundaries do allow for a center wicket with 3 to 4 strips, and also the direction of the clubhouse. Whereas in the Ceylon Sports Club, the setup of the clubhouse and the square boundaries is not conducive for having multiple strips, and also the boundaries are much shorter than here at the Indian Association.
Stars continue their defense with Aditya Rangaswamy. Oh, that's poor fielding from the wicket keeper. Should have got that. It's an extra run to the Crimsons.
Yes, that's a clumsy bit of keeping. At the end of 11 overs, Crimson 72 for the loss of 2. If you dislodge Chetan Suryavanshi and then get perhaps Prasheen Param, that's the only way the Stars can think of winning the game from here. Because if these two batsmen continue, that total would erode rather quickly.
Hit down the ground for 1 by Chetan.
Is the required run rate below run a ball on this fast surface? That wouldn't put too much pressure on the Crimsons with wickets in hand. It's a very good bit of fielding. Siddhant Singh throwing himself, saving 2 runs for his team. Wonderful to see youngsters throwing themselves, giving 100%. I'm well pleased with that. And that's the way you should play the game, hard. Leave everything on the park.
I mean, if you can play it hard as a youngster, at what age do you think of playing it hard? Do you want to let it stretch and play it hard later on in life, or do you want to play it hard right about now and continue with the same spirit throughout your career?
Absolutely.
Avi has been nice and tidy this evening. So far considered 5 runs from his 1.3 overs.
That's another wonderful delivery. Moving in with the angle, hitting the seam and jagging away. It's almost a little leg cutter that he bowled. The ball straightening after landing. Chetan Suryavanshi giving a few words of guidance there to Naveen Param. That's good to see from the senior pro. That's a good connection, well fielded off his own bowling. He's bowled very well this evening, conceding just 5 runs thus far from his 11 deliveries.
And he has kept it very simple, using the angles very well at the bowling crease, going slightly wider and making sure he's tucking the ball into the batsman, no room given. And all he has to do is play it back to him. Or that one he goes a bit outside of stump.
And as we speak, he bowls one short and wide and gets punished. Naveen Param waiting on it and depositing it backward of point for 4. He'd be disappointed, he didn't finish it off strong.
That was a release ball from the bowler. Param Naveen gets a boundary of the score moves to 79 for 2 after 12 overs. The Crimsons sailing nicely towards the target.
Aditya Rangaswamy thrown the ball by his captain. I'm sure Reza would like at this point rather love a wicket. It would make it a bit more interesting.
I've seen so much coaching going on around the Indian Association, a few flyers and banners of academies. I've seen the MS Dhoni Academy and I think the National Academy also. What drives these academies? What drives them, and who is, let's say, the main person or the main group of people who are behind all this effort to make sure that the youngsters get the necessary skills going forward in their careers?
Yes, the Singapore Cricket Association has its youth development programs. It's well controlled, down to long off for a single. And the National Academy, the moment, being hosted by Indian Association here. And also there are private academies held in the various cricket grounds at the Singapore Cricket Club, Indian Cricket Association, Ceylon Sports Club, etc. And also in some schools. That's a good delivery, left alone. And all those ensure that the youth interested in cricket receive coaching from almost 6 years and above. And the National Cricket Academy guides the development, then making sure that they come up through the ranks and through the age group developments, and then all the way up to representing Singapore at the various age group levels, under 15, 17, 19, and then the national side eventually. Chetan seems to be buying his time, waiting for those deliveries to come in his area. Place it off his hips. It's a good bit of fielding. Nacha keeping it to 2.
Those are very brilliant facilities and facilitations, I think, for the youngsters while growing up. It's very amazing to see such programs being run in Singapore. For a country of its size, you know, you go to countries where cricket is played and these are massive countries, but you literally see no such facilities, and such academies in place for youngsters to learn more skills and acquire more knowledge about the game. That's 13 overs gone, and the Crimsons on 84 for 2, cruising towards the target. Yusuf Aslam coming back into the attack for the Stars. Yes, of a ball, 2 overs for 7 runs and picked up 1 wicket.
Yes, he's been the pick of the bowling this evening. Also contributed some vital runs with the bat. Also took a good catch. I beg your pardon, did a good bit of fielding at backward point, stopping boundaries and saving runs for his side. And he gets an outside edge straight away, no slip in place, ball flies for 4. You need to have a slip in place when you're looking for wickets. Stars are not going to win this defending.
That's very painful from the bowler, bowling so well like that, and then you get an outside edge that runs off for 4. It's really, really painful.
It's a very good single. Batsman running the moment they made the connection, almost gliding down.
So Singapore is a country or a city. Singapore is a city, same as Hong Kong. It's a city of diverse culture. 80% of the population are Chinese. How do you get the Chinese to get involved in the cricket? Because I see most of them are involved in other sports other than cricket. I see them, most of them are involved in athletics, basketball, badminton. But I've not seen any Chinese being involved in cricket. How do you?
This is a very interesting one. Drill back. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yusuf Aslam is very disappointed. He seemed to believe that was gone. Let's have a look at the replay. Seemed to have got a finger to it. That looked out. But the umpire seemed to also have been in a good position, seems to have thought otherwise. That was very close. And now he gets the wicket. On this occasion, it's Naveen Param that perishes. Could there be a final turn in this game? Gets the top edge. Aditya Rangaswamy makes no mistake. Yusuf Aslam rewarded for good bit of bowling.
I think we're going to have an entertaining finish to this game.
This is the replay once more. The close run out chance. I think the bat Looked like it was in the air. The wicket is being struck. Yes. You could see the middle stump moving even before it came into clear sight, as the umpire was in the way in that frame. But seems to have judged it not out. That brings Manoj Yadav, I believe, out to the crease. He's a big hitting player. Yes, Manoj Kumar Yadav.
Crimson's needing another 35 of 36 balls to win this game. This looks like it's going to be a nail-biting finish.
Absolutely. Can Ahan Archer make something happen here? I really would like to see a slip in there. Because if you get the wicket of Chetan now, there'll be a bit of panic in the dressing room. Chetan Suryavanshi accelerating. It's behind that. Clean hit. Drilled it straight for 6. Beautiful shot. Quick hands. There's no mistake with that. Ball in his area. Slapped it away. Seems like he wants to finish this off in a hurry.
Could this be the over that will change the game?
It's very good running between the wickets. Running the first one hard. Coming back for 2.
Chetan makes sure he retains the strike.
Yes, and also they picked the right fielder, Kontina Santosh. He's got a good arm, but he's not the quickest to the ball.
I mean, in such conditions, you have no excuse, playing under 35, 36 degrees. Your fitness levels have got to be up there, otherwise you'll end up being the weak link in the team. That boundary of the first ball of the over has taken some pressure off the Stars. I think now the bowler is under pressure now and is bound to make more mistakes as the over continues.
And Manoj Kumar too, he can hit a long ball. It's a good delivery. All he needs to do is just hang him there. At the end of 15, Crimson's 98 for the loss of 3. Had they got a few more runs on the board, this match would have been a bit more interesting.
I think the wicket has played differently this evening. It's been a bit of a slow track. You can see from how the Crimsons are approaching their chase. It has not changed that much. It has played the same for both teams. So yeah, like you said, another maybe 20, 30 runs for the Crimsons, for the Stars while batting would have been a nice total for them to fight with.
Avi Dixit has done a good job here. Even though he hasn't picked up a wicket, he's looked threatening, he's bowled in the right areas, he's kept it tight, conceding just 9 runs. Apart from a boundary in that last over of the last ball, it's been very good. That's very good batting by Chetan, playing with the angles.
That's very true, because you can see it from the bowler. He's angling the ball into him, pitching it on the middle stump line. You saw Chetan adjusting his stance to middle stump just to make sure he gets in line with the ball and clips it off his pad for a single, which has worked well for him.
And Manoj Kumar Yadav now tonking it away to long on.
So Jamal, you haven't answered my question about getting the Chinese involved. I think...
Yes, to answer your question comprehensively, to begin with, yes, Singapore is a city-state, it's what you call a city-state, and rather different to Hong Kong in the fact that Hong Kong is an administrated special area of China, and it has an appointed governor, whereas Singapore is a sovereign nation and it's considered a city-state. And the majority Chinese, as you correctly pointed out, they are more involved in soccer, athletics, swimming, table tennis, badminton. But there have been a fair number of Chinese cricketers that has gone on to even represent Singapore and have contributed. And the more this game expands and penetrates, the more I see youngsters getting involved, and especially with the grassroots works that have been done by the Singapore Cricket Association. Chetan Suryavanshi drills it to long on, and also especially with the ladies team, there's a lot more Chinese participation in cricket. At the end of 16 overs, Crimson's 103 for the loss of 3 wickets. 20 runs away, 21 to be exact. A big thanks to all our sponsors, Mariners Cricket Club, KTP Exports, Synergy Physiotherapy and Sports. Mr. Saira, who also joined us previously in the Combox. He's been a great supporter of cricket. Mr. Randhir Bansal from KTP Exports, and the Mariners, the title sponsor. Chetan Suryavanshi picks the gap over deep mid-wicket. 6 runs. Excellent shot. He was buying his time, waiting for the ball to be in his arc. Dispatches it.
Looks like he wants to go very quickly. He has had enough of this. The bowler goes down the leg and it's a wide. Aditya Rangaswamy back in the attack for the Crimsons, for the Stars. Crimsons on 110 for 3, 16.1 overs. Chetan moves on to 32 of 27. Manoj Yadav 2 of 5.
Young Aman Desai throwing himself around there. The Crimsons are on the dreaded Nelson. 1-1-1 for the loss of 3.
Let's see what happens. Aditya Rangaswamy has looked to, he has bowled throughout this tournament from around the wickets as a left-arm seamer. I don't think it will really work for him that much. What do you have to say, Mr. Jamal?
Yes, his bowling action is not that of your regular left-arm bowler. He bowls off the wrong foot, and that might be a reason why he believes that going around the wicket is a bit more effective for him. However, I believe if he comes over the wicket and gets closer to the umpire, his angles would be much more effective on this surface. See, if that delivery was sent down from over the wicket, with the late swing he gets away from the right-hander, it would make it almost an impossible delivery to play.
Or even have a court behind. Because from around the wicket, you've literally cut off the angles. The batsman is clearly seeing you coming down the track and is in great position to take you on, rather than when you take your normal coming from over.
Yes, the batsman has more visibility of the variations, and in particular given the release point.
Short and cut away for 4. And Nojadav dispatches 1 to the boundary of the bowling of Aditya Rangaswamy.
Lolit Babu, I think he ran past that one safely to say.
It looked like he wanted to play a Mohammad Salah.
I think he has abandoned Kohli. The spirit of Kohli would be very disappointed with that effort.
Now he's possessed by a spirit of Salah.
Yes, we can safely say that such fielding would not impress the captain, let alone the spectators. The Crimsons 117 for the loss of 3, the end of 17. For the love of God in me, do not know what he was attempting there. Please, use your hands. It is entertaining though.
Cricket is a game of hands. Hands.
Lolit Babu truly enjoying himself on the park.
Good to see him get his first game in for the Stars.
Yes, and that's where he needs to understand the few opportunities that you get, whether it's fielding, batting, bowling, whatever you would get, you need to show that you belong on this stage.
Yeah, like I said earlier on, for any given chance that you get, whether it's 5 overs or 10 overs, doesn't matter for as long as it is a cricket game. Give it your best. And once you cross that rope after the game, you have no regrets. Whether you've won or you've lost, you'll say, I gave it my best, I gave it my all. That's the way I approach my game. Before leaving the changing room, I'll say I'm going to give it my best. whether it comes my way or it doesn't come my way, but I'll make sure for every game that I step onto the cricket ground, I'll give it my all.
And that is the spirit with which this game should be played. To do justice to your selection.
Because with cricket, you can only play yourself into or out of the team. I mean, everyone is given equal chances. You'll be given to bowl, you get a chance to bat, you get a chance to field, everyone has to field. So there's various areas, 3 areas that you can showcase yourself and play yourself into the team or play yourself out of the team. Once again, Siddhant comes back into the attack for the Stars. He has done well this evening. Score moves on to 122 for 3 after 17.4 overs.
Short skied away, and in the dying moments of this game, Manoj Kumar Yadav has decided to throw his wicket away. And that's a good running catch by Aman Desai. Once again.
Siddharth Singh getting another of his men.
Yes, this youngster has done well today. And he has shown that fighting spirit with the bat, with the ball, on the field. And this is the type of effort that you want to see. Bustling in, hitting the deck hard, getting the bounce, getting the wicket. That brings Prashin Param to the center. Now really it's a formality. Did they cross over? It looks like Chetan Suryavanshi is at the striker's end. It's now going to be a matter of time.
Could this be the last ball of the innings? Short and wide, Chetan slashes it.
And that's it. The Crimsons have won by 6 wickets and in the process knocked the Stars out of this competition. So the finals will be between the Crescents and the Crimsons, but there will be another game played between the Stars and the Crescents, I believe.
That will be on Thursday?
On Thursday. We will join you shortly with the awards presentation. Chetan Suryavanshi guiding the chase with an unbeaten 35 of 30 deliveries. Very good effort by him. Also bowled well and fielded well, apart from one miss. He'll be very happy. The experienced campaigner, good fighter.
And here at the IA in Singapore, it has been Jamal Silva and Charles West in the commentary box. We thank you, those who have been watching all over the world. Continue watching and following the EPS. A few more matches to be played on Thursday, Saturday, as the tournament draws the curtains. Thank you very much for those who have been watching all over the world. Thank you for following the APL throughout the 6 weeks that it has been running.
And thank you, Charles, for joining in the comm box. It's been a pleasure commentating with you. We join you shortly with the presentation.
Thank you, Jamal.
Mic test. Good evening and welcome to the presentation ceremony for this game between SG Stars and SG Crimsons, game number 7 of this EPS, Mariners EPS 2019 T20 leg. There were many good performances today, but now, first of all, I would like to invite Mr. Sarika Prasad to give away the Man of the Match award for his 44 runs from 36 balls and 2 wickets. Siddhant Singh of the Stars.
Very well done, Sidhu.
Like to have a word with the captain of the Stars. Tough luck today, Rez. Didn't have enough runs on the board.
Yeah, I thought we were about 10-20 runs short. We didn't really help ourselves. We didn't bat well in the middle overs.
You all have had a great EPS. A lot of youngsters today getting the opportunity as well. How do you think about that?
Yeah, I think a lot of boys have shown that their potential. Siddhant coming up, Yusuf, Ahan. I think we've got some good performances. Arjun scoring 200s in the 50-over format. So it's very promising and nice to see.
The Stars will not be in the finals, but you all had a great run in this EPS 2019. Thank you and good luck for the rest of your games in the future.
Thank you, thank you.
We'd like to speak to the captain of the Crimsons. Kerbo, you're making a bit of a habit in these chases.
Yeah, I mean, it's very good to see the team performing like this. I think everybody has chipped in every game, so yeah, hopefully it continues for the last two.
Now you'll be almost guaranteed a position in the finals and you'll be facing the Crescents. Going forward, what are the areas you want to improve in your team?
It's hard to say because we've had so many good performances, but more of the same I think is the call of the day, and yeah, just to keep the concentration throughout all the games, and yeah, so make sure we take it home.
Good luck for the rest of the games and the finals.
Thank you.
That's it from the presentation ceremony. We'll see you for the next game on Thursday. Good night.